Nothing burns an enemy more than watching the person they dismissed build an empire with the bricks they threw. My dear chosen ones, read that line again. Let it sink deep, because that's exactly what's happening right now. Every breath you take, every move you make, every quiet victory you score is a hammer cracking their pride. They doubted you. They wrote you off. They whispered you'd never make it without their approval. But here you are, rising, building, thriving, and they can't even form the words to explain it. They watch you like people watching a fire they can't put out, mesmerized and terrified at the same time. Their question, the one that gnaws at them like rust on old metal, is the same every night. How are you doing this? Chosen one, let me answer it for them. You're doing it because you stopped asking for permission. You're doing it because you stopped drinking the poison they called tradition. You're doing it because you refused to die inside a cage they built for your soul. And now your success is a mirror they can't escape. When they look at you, they don't just see your glow. They see their own wasted potential staring back at them. That's why their smiles are fake. That's why their whispers are venom. That's why their silence feels louder than their words. You are proof of what they could have been, but chose not to be. And before we dive deeper, my dear chosen ones, if this message is already striking your spirit, pause for a moment and return the energy. Support this mission by pressing like and subscribing to the channel. Every click, every share, every comment fuels us to keep pouring out content that wakes souls, breaks chains, and lights fires inside people who need it most. Your support isn't just for us, it's for the next chosen one who stumbles on this message at the exact moment they're about to give up. Together, we're not just building a channel, we're building a movement. Picture this, chosen one. A stadium full of runners takes off at the gunshot. They sprint, all speed and ego, leaving you behind. They mock you because you're pacing yourself, tying your shoes, breathing steady, slow. They mutter, lost. But one by one they trip, collapse, choke on exhaustion. And you, steady, focused, unstoppable, move past them with quiet power. By the time you cross the finish line, you're not just the winner. You're the headline, the story, the lesson. That's your life right now. You're not simply succeeding. You're exposing their shortcuts as traps. Your patience became your crown, and your crown became their nightmare. And yet, some of you chosen ones ask yourselves, why do they still watch me if they hate me so much? Why don't they just move on? Here's the brutal truth. They can't. They're addicted to you. Your life is the unsolved riddle they whisper about in the dark. Your wins are the episodes of the show they swore they'd stop watching but can't stop streaming. They pretend they're uninterested, but their secret tabs and silent scrolling confess everything. They want to know what you'll do next because deep down they wish it were them. Every success of yours is their punishment. Every step you take forward is salt in the wound of their pride. Let's talk about power, chosen one. The power of being underestimated. There's nothing sharper than the blade of surprise. They trained themselves to believe you were ordinary, predictable, harmless. They put you in a box, wrote your script, predicted your ending. But the old you is gone. The quiet, underestimated version of you they felt safe mocking no longer exists. What rose from that silence is someone they can't measure, can't label, can't control. Your transformation is a mirror they can't stand to look into because it shows them everything they never became. You're not just different, you're unrecognizable, and that terrifies them. Now imagine a crooked bridge, chosen one. A group of architects swears it's the only way across. They force everyone to walk it. One by one, people fall into the river below. They call it normal. They call it life. Then you appear. You refuse the bridge. You dive in and swim across. They laugh. They call you reckless, crazy, doomed. But not only do you make it, you arrive stronger, faster, freer than they ever dreamed. And when you rise on the other side, dripping in strength, they stand there soaked in failure, choking on the realization that you never needed their broken blueprint. That's what your life is doing to them right now. You are their crooked bridge, collapsing in real time. Another question flickers in your mind. Why me? Why does my road feel so hard, so lonely, so misunderstood? Because you were never built for their path. You were not born to blend into broken systems. You were designed to break them. Your detours weren't delays, they were training. Your setbacks weren't punishments, they were preparation. While they built paper houses on shallow ground, you built a fortress brick by brick on bedrock. And now the storm has come. Their castles are dust, and yours stands tall like a lighthouse in the dark. They hate you because you survived the storm they didn't prepare for. Remember this, chosen ones, every time you stand tall without their applause, you destroy their illusion of control. Every time you rise without their help, you hammer another nail into the coffin of their pride. Every time you glow without their validation, you prove their rules were nothing but shackles. They wanted you desperate, they wanted you dependent, they wanted you addicted to their approval. But the day you stopped caring was the day you became untouchable. Detachment turned into your armor. Independence became your weapon. Silence became your storm. And now, no matter how hard they pull at the strings, the puppet doesn't dance. So let them whisper, chosen ones. Let them stalk your page. Let them sit in the dark, watching your light. None of it changes the fact that you've already broken their game. You didn't just escape their cage, you turned the key, walked out, and burned the cage behind you. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, and your thriving is their slow unraveling. This is the power of being chosen, not chosen by them, not chosen by tradition, but chosen by the fire inside you that refused to go out when everything else tried to smother it. That fire is your crown, that crown is your revenge. And every step you take now echoes like thunder in their ears. Chosen one, if these words are striking you like lightning, it's because they're meant for you. You've got people confused, whispering, scrolling, and asking, how are you doing this? And that's exactly why you're here. This space is built for the rare few who feel that power rising inside them. So smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop 77 in the comments if you're ready to claim this message as your own. Show some super thanks if you want to fuel this voice and keep this energy alive. And now, lean in, because what you're about to hear next isn't random. It's the blueprint only the chosen ever receive. Let's dive in step by step, and as you listen, you'll recognize the exact signs unfolding in your own life. Ordinary people won't understand this, but you will. Number 1. The winding road they mocked became the superhighway. They'll never touch, the long road. They mocked became the fast lane they can't catch. The sweetest revenge isn't shouting back, it's lapping the ones who doubted you without even looking over your shoulder. My dear chosen ones, this is the moment the tables turn. The very road they mocked you for walking, the slow, winding, lonely road, has become the expressway they can't even merge onto. They whispered that you were lost. They rolled their eyes at your detours. They predicted your downfall like it was a weather report. But now, the storm has hit them instead. And you're gliding past the wreckage they called success, turning every mile they sneered at into a runway of power. Nothing unsettles the enemy more than realizing the person they dismissed is now the one setting the pace. You know exactly what I'm talking about, chosen one. You didn't take the shiny shortcut. You didn't cram yourself into their conveyor belt of school, job, debt, regret. You took the scenic route, the one with potholes, late nights, hard lessons, and lonely climbs. They called it a delay. They called it foolish. They told you you'd break. But what they didn't understand is that every step on that road was sculpting you, chiseling patience into your muscles, clarity into your mind, and grit into your bones. Their straight line was a trap. Your curves were a forge. Think of it like this. A race begins. One runner explodes off the line, chest puffed, sprinting for applause. The crowd cheers because he's first, for a moment. Halfway through, he's gasping, stumbling, collapsing under the weight of his own speed. Then there's you, steady, disciplined, unshaken. You tied your laces, found your rhythm, breathed through the pain. While they burned out, you built endurance. And now, as they fall one by one, you're not just crossing the finish line, you're rewriting the whole race. That's why their envy feels like a tremor under your feet. Their sprint was short-lived. Your marathon is eternal. And yes, some of you are asking yourselves right now, why does my path feel so misunderstood? Why does it take so long? The answer is brutal but simple, because you were never built to fit into their prefabricated lanes. You weren't designed to run in circles on their hamster wheel. You were designed to carve highways where there were none. They built their lives on quicksand, calling it tradition. You built yours on stone, calling it freedom. That's why the foundation under your feet feels so different, because it is. History itself proves the pattern. Einstein, written off as a failure, wandered through rejection before rewriting physics. Oprah, told she wasn't fit for television, walked through humiliation and setbacks before becoming one of the most powerful voices in media. Jobs, fired from his own company, walked the road of rebuilding to give birth to Apple. None of them sprinted on a straight path. They all took the long, crooked road, and the world still can't stop saying their names. That's the road you're on now, chosen one, the road they can't comprehend until it's too late. Another image for you. Imagine a hill where dozens of builders slap together cookie-cutter houses from a flimsy blueprint. Thin walls, weak roofs, but quick to assemble. They pat each other on the back and call it success because it looks neat from far away. Meanwhile, up on a lonely rise, you're digging deep, laying stone and steel, brick by brick. They laugh at your slow progress. They call you obsessive. Then comes the storm. Their houses fold like paper. Yours doesn't just survive. It becomes the shelter for the very people who doubted you. That's what your scenic route has done. It built you into a fortress in a world of sand castles. And maybe another question flickers in your mind. If they hate me so much, why are they still watching? Because your existence is a mirror. Every step you take forward shows them the courage they lacked. Every win you collect forces them to face their wasted chances. They hate you, but they can't look away. Deep down, they wish they had been you. That jealousy isn't going anywhere, chosen one. It's the tax they pay for underestimating you. There's a quote that nails it. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. You're at the part where their laughter has dried up. They're still fighting you, but in whispers, in silence, in shadows, because your wins have stolen their script. The scenic route wasn't a curse. It was a blessing disguised as struggle. Every obstacle was training. Every detour was a direction. You weren't delayed. You were refined. You weren't rejected. You were redirected. So let this sink in. Chosen one, your success is not an accident. It's not luck. It's not a glitch. It's the balance being restored. They mocked your patience, but your patience became your crown. They mocked your detours, but your detours became your destiny. The road they laughed at has become the fast lane they can't catch. Every time you rise, you prove that following broken systems is nothing compared to following your own inner compass. Every time you glow, you remind them that their shortcuts were dead ends. And every time you win, you hammer another nail into the coffin of their pride. Walk that road with your head high. What was once the scenic route is now the main road. And you, chosen one, aren't just walking it, you're leading it. Number 2, their towers are crumbling. While you build an empire out of dust, while their worlds sink, you're building a tower they can't reach. Nothing cuts deeper than watching the one you doubted glow brighter while you sink in the very mud you once mocked them for avoiding. My dear chosen ones, this is exactly what's happening now. Look around you. The same people who once smirked at your choices, who rolled their eyes when you refused their script, are now crumbling under the weight of their own decisions. You've got people confused, whispering, "How are you doing this?" while their own lives collapse in slow motion. Divorces, midlife crises, broken dreams, empty wallets. The cracks are showing everywhere. Their castles are turning to dust while your foundation hardens into stone. Your survival has become their defeat because each day you rise, you expose the fragility of the lives they built on shaky ground. Chosen one, this isn't luck. This is cause and effect. They trusted systems already breaking. You didn't. They followed people already unfaithful. You refused. They swallowed traditions already toxic. You spat them out. That's why your energy feels different, why your pace seems effortless. It enrages them because if their path was truly right, you'd be suffering too. But you're not. You're thriving. And that contradiction is a blade twisting in their pride. Picture it. A race begins. Everyone takes off at once. They sprint out of the gate, waving, bragging, sure they've already won. They laugh at you because you're pacing yourself, tying your laces, keeping your breath steady. But then comes the twist. They collapse one by one, tripping into ditches they never saw coming. And you're still steady, still strong, moving past their broken bodies with ease. The crowd that once laughed now stares in disbelief. That's life right now. Their rush has left them wrecked. Your patience has turned you into the last one standing. Here's a brutal fact. Over half of marriages end in divorce. Debt is at an all-time high. Anxiety and depression are crushing entire generations. People who followed the safe path, school, job, marriage, house, are waking up at midlife realizing they traded freedom for chains. They thought their road was secure. Instead, it became a prison. And here you are, walking free, smiling at the same age where they're breaking. Your freedom is a knife they can't pull out. And yes, the question flickers in your mind. Why are they crumbling while I rise? Because you refuse to build on cracks. You built differently. While they poured concrete over faults, you dug for bedrock. While they chased applause, you chased freedom. While they settled for safety, you chose risk. And now that courage is paying off in ways they can't explain. The timeline they used to weaponize against you. When are you getting married? When are you buying a house? When are you settling down? Has turned into their tombstone. Your refusal to follow it became your resurrection. Look at the patterns history leaves behind. J.K. Rowling, broke and mocked, scribbling in coffee shops while her peers flaunted stability. They're forgotten she's a global name. Colonel Sanders laughed at for starting late. His peers faded. His legacy feeds millions. The same truth holds. When the crowd crumbles, the one who keeps going is the one who wins. That's you, chosen one. And maybe you're wondering, if they've fallen apart, why are they still watching me? Because you're their mirror. You're proof they had choices too, but lacked courage. They sit in broken marriages, staring at you thriving in your freedom. They suffocate in toxic jobs while you glow because you broke free. They're obsessed with you not because they love you, but because you represent everything they should have done, but were too scared to try. That's why they stalk your life in silence. That's why they whisper your name behind closed doors. That's why their envy is endless. Your rise is their punishment. Imagine again a forest fire sweeping through weak trees. The flames devour them quickly, leaving ashes. But then there's one tree, roots deep, trunk unshakable. The fire rages, but it can't destroy it. The smoke clears, and the tree still stands, a monument to survival. That tree is you. The ashes are your peers. And here's the cruel part for them. It's not just that you survived. It's that you look stronger, brighter, freer while they fall apart. Their wrinkles deepen while your light shines. Their bitterness grows while your joy spreads. Their chains tighten while your wings stretch wider. It's unbearable for them, and yet they can't look away. Chosen one, your rise is no accident. It's the bill for their bad decisions, the receipt for their shortcuts, the evidence that courage outlasts conformity. Every smile on your face is a slap across theirs. Every win you celebrate is salt on their wounds. Every step you take forward is a reminder that while they crumbled, you rose. You turned survival into victory. That victory is the story they'll never escape. So stand proud. Their collapse isn't your fault. It's the consequence of their choices. And your rise, that's your crown. Wear it boldly, because the higher you climb, the louder their silence will scream. Number 3, they lurk in shadows because your light burns their eyes. The shadows can't hide them anymore. When they can't kill your light, they'll try to hide in the dark. But even shadows confess who's standing in the sun. My dear chosen ones, this is the phase nobody warned you about. You've moved past their predictions, their laughter, their smirks. You've climbed far enough up the hill that their voices don't reach you anymore. But look closely, they're still there. They're not clapping, they're not congratulating. They're lurking, they're scrolling. They're whispering your name in dimly lit rooms, as if you're a headline they can't escape. They told themselves they'd forget you. They swore they were done. Yet here they are, eyes glued to your life like it's their favorite series, peeking from fake pages, asking mutual sneaky questions, waiting for cracks that never come. And you might ask, chosen one, if they think I'm nothing, why do they keep watching me? The answer cuts like glass, because your glow blinds them, but it also hooks them. Your success feels like sunlight on their neglected skin. It burns them, but it also fascinates them. Instead of admitting they were wrong about you, they hide in the shadows, hoping your shine will somehow dim without them daring to confront it. Their stalking is their confession. Every silent view, every fake smile, every whispered question is proof that your light is too bright to ignore. Picture this. A moth sees a flame. It knows the fire will burn, yet it circles closer and closer, helpless, drawn against its will. That's your enemy right now. They said they were done with you, but their curiosity won't let them go. Your victories are their addiction. Your glow is their fix. They scroll at midnight, replaying your wins in their heads, telling themselves they're over it, while their thumbs keep finding you again and again. They don't understand that every time they watch you rise, they're feeding the very energy they envy. And maybe this question flickers in your mind. Why don't they just come forward and admit it? Why hide? The truth is brutal but simple, because to say out loud, "I can't stop watching you," would mean admitting defeat. It would mean admitting their envy, their regret, their wrong judgment of you. Pride is a prison, and most people would rather rot inside it than step out and say, "I was wrong." So they hide, thinking shadows will protect their ego. They wear masks, they make excuses, they pretend not to care. But every secret view, every stalked story, every muttered question is a neon sign flashing their obsession. Chosen one, understand this. Their secrecy doesn't protect them from the truth. The truth is already written. They're bound to your light, whether they like it or not. You don't even have to look back to see it. Their whispers are louder than applause. Their lurking is louder than clapping. Their gossip is proof that you've become the story they can't put down. They hide because they can't compete. They hide because they can't touch you. They hide because even in the dark, your shine exposes them. Let them lurk. Let them stalk. Let them whisper in the corners. None of it changes the fact that you've already outgrown their reach. They can't dim what they didn't ignite. Their shadows can't touch your fire. Their gossip can't touch your growth. Every time they check your page in silence, they're proving again that you're untouchable. Every time they circle like moths, they're admitting again that your flame is still burning while theirs is fading out. Remember this, chosen one. Your light doesn't just expose your enemies, it scorches them. It's not your job to hide it, shrink it, or dim it to make them comfortable. Let them feel the burn. Let them stew in the darkness they chose. Your shine is your proof. Their stalking is their surrender. And the more they hide, the more obvious it becomes who's really in control. Number 4. The moment they let you go is the nightmare that never ends, the missed opportunity that eats them alive. The greatest pain isn't losing what you had, it's realizing too late that what you let go was the only thing that could have saved you. My dear chosen ones, this is the wound they'll never show you, the regret that rots them from the inside out. They thought walking away from you was no big deal. They thought dismissing you, underestimating you, or treating you like an option would leave no scar. But now their nights are haunted by the ghost of their own decision. They told themselves you were replaceable, that you'd always be there waiting in the background. But you weren't. You rose, you built, you transformed, and now every victory you collect is a knife twisting in their pride, reminding them of the rare chance they fumbled like fools. Chosen one, you were not just another person in their orbit. You were the moment. You were the diamond chip they tossed across the table like it was nothing. They thought they had endless chances, endless options, endless time, and now they scroll silently, stalking your glow, choking on the truth that they walked away from everything. That regret doesn't fade, it multiplies. It replays in their head like a horror film they can't switch off. The moment they laughed when they should have listened, the moment they mocked when they should have respected, the moment they let you slip away thinking you'd circle back. But you didn't circle back, you moved forward, and the universe pulled you further from their reach every time you leveled up. That's the truth that keeps them awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, replaying the door closing behind you. Imagine this, chosen one. A gambler sits at a table with a diamond chip in hand. He shrugs, tosses it away like it's worthless. He thinks he's got better cards, better bets. Years later, he learns that chip was priceless, worth more than everything else combined, and he can't get it back. The scene replays in his mind over and over until it eats him alive. That gambler is your enemy. They had you in their grasp, and now all they have is regret. And maybe right now, chosen one, a question rises in your mind. Why does it still bother them so much? Why can't they just move on? Because you became the living proof of their greatest mistake. Every achievement you claim screams. You could have been part of this, but you chose pride instead. Every glow you radiate whispers, you underestimated me, and now look at me. They can't move on because your very existence is the receipt of their bad decision, and receipts don't lie. Understand this, the universe designed it that way. Your success is not just your blessing, it is their punishment. It is the justice written into the balance of life. Their regret is the chain they'll never break, because every time they see you shine, they're reminded that they lost the best thing they'll never get back. So, let them replay it, chosen one. Let them sit in the prison of their own memories, pressing rewind on the day they dismissed you. You owe them nothing. You don't need to explain. You don't need to comfort. Their pain is not your problem. It's their consequence. You were the chance of a lifetime, and they treated you like a dime a dozen. Now they know the truth. Chances like you don't come twice. Chosen ones, listen carefully. Their missed opportunity is your proof of worth. Their silence, their stalking, their obsession. It's the confession they'll never say out loud. They thought they were walking away from nothing, but they walked away from everything. And now, that truth gnaws at them every time they see your name, every time they hear your victories, every time they realize they'll never have access to you again. Walk tall, knowing this. You are unforgettable, undeniable, and irreplaceable. Their regret is permanent, but your rise is endless. They can't rewrite the past. They can't undo their mistake. And they can't stop watching the living reminder of what they lost. That's you, and that's their punishment forever. Number 5, their golden cage. Was your escape hatch to power? They called it stability. You called it a trap. Now they're still spinning in circles while you're running free. My dear chosen ones, listen closely, because this is the part they never wanted you to see. Everything they sold you as stability, school, marriage, debt, careers, wasn't built to elevate you. It was designed to contain you. It was a polished cage with golden bars, a carefully engineered hamster wheel disguised as life. They wanted you running fast, sweating for crumbs, too tired to question why you weren't getting anywhere. They wanted your obedience dressed up as achievement. And the moment you stepped off their wheel, the moment you refused to bow to the script, you didn't just escape, you exposed them. Think about it. Chosen one. They gave you a playbook. Get the grades, borrow the money, get the job, buy the house you can't afford, marry to tick a box, have kids to match a timeline, work yourself into the ground until the light in your eyes flickers out. Call that success. They never told you it was a trapdoor. They never told you the hamster wheel never stops. They never told you that the applause dies as soon as you collapse. And yet you had the courage to step aside, to say, "No, this is not my life." That refusal saved you, and it destroyed them because now your existence is proof the wheel can be broken. Let me paint it for you. A row of rats runs faster and faster on a spinning wheel, thinking speed equals progress. They're dripping with sweat, exhausted, starving, but too brainwashed to stop. Then one rat, just one, jumps off. They gasp. They laugh. "You'll never survive without this," they sneer. But when they look back later, that one is free, eating in the open field while they're still running, still hungry, still trapped. That's you versus them. They're still running laps in their golden cage while your freedom mocks their chains. Every breath you take outside that cage is a slap across their pride. And maybe the question flickers in your mind. Why do they hate me for escaping? Shouldn't they be happy I'm free? The answer is brutal. Your freedom reminds them of their slavery. Your choice to walk away exposes the weakness in their choices. Every time you breathe outside the cage, you prove they could have jumped too, but they didn't. Nothing cuts deeper than realizing you've built your own prison. So they project that pain at you. They call you reckless, irresponsible, selfish, crazy. But beneath those words is the ache of regret, the sting of envy. Chosen one, this is why they're confused. You broke every rule they swore was necessary, and instead of collapsing, you're thriving. You've turned their cage into your catapult, their trapdoor into your throne room. You're not just surviving outside their system, you're shining. That glow you carry is unbearable to them because it's a living reminder of everything they could have been if they had dared to leave. That's why they stalk your life. That's why they whisper your name. They don't understand how you're doing it, and it rattles them to their core. Look at them now. The hamster wheel still spins. The tradition still breaks backs. The same scripts they handed you are still swallowing them whole. They're exhausted, bitter, quietly unraveling while you stand free, calm, untouchable. You didn't choose the easy path. You chose the real one. And in doing so, you didn't just escape, you rewrote the map. You built proof that freedom is possible. So walk tall, chosen one. Don't shrink your stride to make them comfortable. Don't dim your glow to soothe their guilt. You've earned this freedom. You've paid for it with courage, patience, and risk. Their golden cage was their tomb. Your refusal to enter became your crown. And now, every step you take outside their system is a broadcast to anyone watching. The wheel can be broken, the cage can be escaped. Stability without freedom is just a velvet prison. And you, chosen one, are the living proof that breaking out is not the end, it's the beginning. Number 6. They drank the poison of tradition. While you walked away untouched, they toasted to poison. You walked away untouched. The crowd will call you crazy for refusing their cup until they're choking on the very drink they swore would make them strong. My dear chosen ones, this is the part of your story that hits them the hardest. They're sitting there, drained, bitter, exhausted, asking themselves why you glow while they rot. And the answer is simple. You refused their poison. You saw through the shiny wrapping paper they called tradition, normal, and the right way. They tried to hand you the cup, smiling as if it were nectar, but you knew what it really was, a slow-acting toxin of conformity. You pushed it back across the table, and now, while they twist in their own choices, you're standing tall, breathing clean air, unstoppable. They called it culture. They called it stability. They told you who to marry, when to marry, how to work, where to live, what to buy, how to dream. Every step, every milestone, every box ticked. Not because they loved it, but because they feared standing out. They were puppets dancing on strings pulled by invisible hands, family pressure, societal demands, fake rules dressed up as wisdom. And when you cut your strings, chosen one, they called you rebellious. They whispered, "You'll regret this. You'll fail." They shook their heads and said you'd be back, begging for scraps of acceptance. But look at the scoreboard now. They're broke, bitter, divorced and depressed. And you? You're free, powerful, alive, untouchable. Picture it. A long banquet table filled with people lifting glasses of poison disguised as champagne. They toast to conformity, clink their glasses and drink deep. One person, you, refuses. They laugh at you, call you weak, call you foolish. But hours later, their bodies twist with pain, their eyes dim, their voices crack. And you? You're still standing steady and radiant. That's exactly your life right now. Their fake systems became their downfall. Your refusal became your power. And maybe you're wondering, why can't they admit it? Why do they still defend what's obviously crushing them? Because pride is a heavy chain. To admit the system failed them would mean admitting they wasted years living a lie. To admit the rules were fake would mean admitting they shackled themselves for nothing. It's easier to attack you than to face their own reflection. That's why they gossip. That's why they stalk you. That's why they throw shade while secretly watching every move you make. Your existence is a walking confession of their mistakes. Listen carefully, chosen one. Your glow is not an accident. It's evidence. Evidence of courage. Evidence of truth. Evidence of refusing to compromise your freedom for their approval. You chose truth over comfort. You chose freedom over fear. You chose self-respect over applause. That's why you're here, untouchable, while they're still choking on the drink they swore you'd regret refusing. This is the war you've already won. They can't reverse the poison. They can't undo the years. They can't copy your independence. Even if they tried to break free now, they'd have to face the mirror first. And that mirror terrifies them more than you ever could. That's why you're confusing them. That's why they're saying, "How are you doing this?" Because in their world, no one survives without the cup. You're proof they could have, but didn't. So hold your head high, chosen one. Every time you rise, every time you breathe freely, every time you shine without their permission, you hammer another crack into their crumbling system. You're not just surviving outside of it, you're exposing it. And the longer you stand, the louder your existence roars. You can't poison a free soul. You can't control someone who refuses the drink. You can't break someone who builds their own table. That's why you shine. That's why they wither. Number 7. Every victory you score is a bullet through their excuses. They swore you'd crash. Now every win of yours is a nail in their coffin. The loudest laughter always dies first when the punchline is your success. My dear chosen ones, this is the moment their smirks turn to silence. They thought your way would fail. They called your choices reckless, your independence foolish, your patience a waste of time. They whispered, "Watch them crumble." They waited for the spectacular crash that never came. But instead of falling, you rose, and each step upward has become a hammer blow shattering their pride. This isn't just success, it's a reversal. Their predictions have become your fuel, and your victories are chiseling epitaphs onto the headstones of their judgment. Think about how they positioned you. You were supposed to be the warning sign, the cautionary tale they could point to and say, "See? This is what happens when you refuse the rules. They needed you to fail so they could feel right. They wanted your path to end in dust so they could defend their own cages. But you didn't give them that comfort. You kept walking your path, strange as it seemed, misunderstood as it felt, and now your glow has stolen their script. The very road they ridiculed is the one they now secretly wish they had taken. Imagine this, chosen one. In a crowded workshop stands an inventor bent over a strange machine. People gather to watch, smirking, whispering, calling him crazy, wasteful, doomed. They laugh at every bolt he tightens, every odd shape he welds. But then, with one spark, the machine roars to life, louder, brighter, stronger than anything they've ever seen. The laughter dies mid-breath. The smirks twist into awe. Shame burns their faces. That's your life right now. You are the invention they swore would never work, the masterpiece they mocked before it was finished. And now it's running at full power, breaking them inside because it proves how wrong they were. Some of you may be asking, why don't they just admit they were wrong? Why don't they just respect my success? The answer is brutal but simple. Pride is a prison. To admit your way worked would mean admitting their way didn't. To honor your courage would mean facing their own cowardice. And most people can't stand that kind of mirror. It's easier for them to stay silent, to seethe in the shadows, to gossip quietly than to say out loud, "We misjudged you." Their silence is their confession. Every glance they avoid, every awkward smile, every accidental check of your page is proof that your wins are hammering nails into the coffin of their pride. Here's the part they can't stand, chosen one. Your success wasn't supposed to happen without their approval. Your glow wasn't supposed to exist without their applause. You broke that unwritten contract. You didn't wait for a seat at their table. You built your own and made it bigger. And now every achievement of yours exposes their excuses as lies. They told themselves rebellion doesn't work, but your life says it does. They told themselves risk is too dangerous, but your life says risk is the only path to freedom. They told themselves patience is weakness, but your life says patience is power. Remember this as you move forward. Their laughter was temporary, your success is permanent. Their predictions were shallow, your results are deep. The very winds they mocked have become the storm carrying you forward. Each step you take now isn't just a win for you, it's a public dismantling of their certainty. They thought you'd fail, but the only thing that failed was their judgment of you. So, chosen one, keep walking, keep building, keep stacking wins quietly, steadily, relentlessly. You don't have to rub it in, your life is doing that for you. Every time you rise, another layer of their pride crumbles. Every time you glow, another lie they told themselves dissolves. You are the living proof that their rules were cages, their predictions were smoke, and their laughter was hollow. Let your wins keep hammering down because the script has flipped, and you are no longer their warning sign, you are their reckoning. Number 8, you transformed into someone they can't recognize or compete with. You're unrecognizable, and it terrifies them. The loudest revenge isn't shouting louder, it's becoming someone they can't even recognize anymore. My dear chosen one, take a deep breath because this truth might sting them harder than anything else so far. You are no longer the person they once knew. They buried the old you in their minds like a forgotten file, and now they're staring at a version of you that doesn't match their memory, their gossip, or their predictions. You've evolved, you've sharpened, you've leveled up in ways they never prepared for. And now, every time they see you, their hearts skip. Not from admiration, but from panic. Because the version of you they felt safe mocking no longer exists. They liked you when you were soft. They liked you when you were quiet. They liked you when you were predictable because that made them feel superior. But that version of you died the moment you stopped asking for permission. It died when you stopped chasing their validation. It died when you stopped shrinking yourself to fit their boxes. And now, chosen one, what's risen from the ashes is something radiant, powerful, and untouchable. A version of you they can't control, can't box in, can't decode. That is why they whisper. That is why they stalk your page in silence. That is why their eyes dart away when you enter the room. Imagine it for a moment. A snake sheds its skin and emerges gleaming, renewed, dangerous. The creatures that once mocked it, poked it, laughed at it, now freeze in fear, whispering, "Is that even the same one?" That's you now. They stare at your glow, your composure, your energy, and it doesn't compute. Their brains can't reconcile the underestimated version of you they once knew with the force standing in front of them today. Their confusion isn't just curiosity, it's fear wrapped in envy. And maybe you're wondering, why does my transformation scare them so much? Shouldn't they be proud? Here's the brutal truth. Your evolution exposes their stagnation. You moved while they stood still. You broke cycles while they repeated the same mistakes. You grew while they rotted in comfort zones. You are living proof that change is possible, and at the same time, living proof they chose not to change. That mirror is unbearable for them. Every time they look at you, they see the version of themselves they could have been but didn't become. This is why they whisper instead of congratulating you. This is why they watch instead of reaching out. This is why they copy your style in secret while pretending not to notice you in public. Your transformation has turned you into a riddle they can't solve, and every unsolved riddle becomes an obsession. Their fear of your new level is your power, chosen one. The more unrecognizable you become, the less control they have, and the more their envy multiplies like cracks in old glass. Understand this, the old you was their comfort zone. It made them feel big, it made them feel right. It gave them a box to point at and say, "See, I know exactly who that is." But the new you, brilliant, bold, beyond their reach, shatters their narrative. You're not just different, you're untrackable. You've burned the blueprint they wrote for your life and replaced it with a map only you can read. And that mystery, that glow, that power is why their stomach turns every time your name comes up. So don't shrink back to make them comfortable. Don't explain your transformation to make it digestible. They're not supposed to understand it. They're supposed to feel the shock of it. They're supposed to feel the sting of realizing they underestimated you. That is the real lesson. Your transformation isn't just your growth. It's their wake-up call, their mirror, their punishment. Chosen one, you were never meant to remain who they thought you were. You've outgrown their small expectations, and now their confusion and fear are your crown. Wear it boldly, because the old you is gone forever, and the new you isn't just a surprise. It's their worst nightmare, brilliant, bold, and beyond their reach. Number 9. Your detachment became the blade that cuts their strings of control. Detachment became your superpower, the calm that shatters their control. Nothing makes an enemy more powerless than realizing they no longer control your reactions. My dear chosen ones, this is the chapter where everything flips. They didn't just want you to fail, they wanted you to need them while you failed. They wanted you hooked on their approval like a drip, begging for crumbs of validation, shrinking yourself to fit their little boxes. That was their plan, to keep you dancing on their strings, performing for their claps, and living for their opinions. But then it happened. You cut the cord, you stopped caring, and the day you stopped caring was the day you became untouchable. Detachment became your superpower. The moment you stopped chasing validation, the moment you stopped fearing outcomes, you turned into a force they cannot contain. That stillness inside you, that calm that doesn't flinch when they gossip, doesn't shake when they disapprove, is no longer a quiet surrender. It's an earthquake. It's the storm ripping through their illusions. Your peace is no longer passive. It's their punishment. They hate it because your silence exposes how loud their need for control really is. While they run around trying to provoke you, trying to bait you, trying to keep you reacting, you sit steady, you don't flinch, you don't beg, you don't explain, and nothing burns them deeper than realizing the puppet no longer dances. Imagine this, chosen one, a puppet stands on a stage, strings tied tight. The puppeteer jerks and pulls, making it move. The crowd laughs, claps, feels entertained. But one day, the puppet cuts its strings and stands tall. The puppeteer panics, pulling on cords that no longer control anything. The crowd goes silent. The show is over. That's your enemy right now. They're yanking on invisible cords, expecting you to jump, but you don't. You stand tall, free, sovereign, a living proof that their control is gone, and that terrifies them. And maybe you're asking yourself, why does my detachment bother them so much? Shouldn't they just leave me alone? The answer is brutal, because without your reactions, they have no power. Without your chase, their pride has no fuel. They fed on your need for approval. That was their only advantage. Now that you've detached, their advantage is gone. They're powerless. And nothing is more humiliating than realizing they can't shake you anymore. This is why you look calm while they look chaotic. This is why your presence feels magnetic while theirs feels heavy. You've stopped playing their game, and now their game has collapsed. Your calm isn't weakness, it's a weapon. Your silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Every time you stay unbothered, you destroy another illusion of their control. Every time you walk away instead of reacting, you hammer another nail into the coffin of their power. Think about it like this. A lion doesn't roar at every barking dog. It keeps walking, head high, knowing its power speaks louder than noise. That's you now. You've moved past needing their applause, their acceptance, their understanding, and in doing so, you've stepped into a level of freedom they can't comprehend. Detachment didn't make you cold, it made you clear. It didn't make you heartless, it made you whole. And here's the truth. Chosen one, only a rare few ever reach this point. Ordinary people stay hooked on validation their whole lives, dancing for approval that never fills them. But you cut the cord. You walked away. You built peace from the inside out. That's why they're confused, whispering, scrolling, asking, "How are you doing this?" They don't realize the secret is not what you gained, it's what you stopped giving. Hold that line, chosen ones. Keep your calm like armor. Keep your detachment like a blade. They will try to pull you back into their chaos because your silence exposes their noise, but don't let them. Your independence is their unraveling. Your peace is their storm. And every step you take unbothered is another reminder that you're no longer part of their script. You're writing your own. Walk with your head high. This isn't just detachment, it's evolution, it's the ultimate freedom, and it's exactly why they can't touch you anymore. And so, chosen one, if there's one truth to take with you, it's this. Their confusion is proof of your power. Every step you take forward is a reminder that you can't be boxed in, controlled, or silenced. You're walking a path they never dared to touch, and that's why they whisper, "How are you doing this?" Now it's your turn to amplify this message. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop 77 in the comments if this struck your spirit. Share it wide, because your rise fuels the rise of others.